Hi, I'm Graham Robinson. Now, bullying is quite often a symptom of our childhood. For some, it is a phase. For others, it is due to the trauma they experienced as kids. And that bullying, though, continues as we grow into adulthood. Welcome to turning childhood pain into adult healing. So, why does a child become a bully? Well, I left school at 13 and I went to my first job in an auto electrician's. And the guy who hired me, he would have been mid 20s, I guess. He took great pleasure in inviting me into the storeroom and whipping me with a steel silver strip. And he did this on several occasions. I was there for about 3 months, and then they decided I was no longer required. I wasn't very good, I must admit. But I didn't understand his behavior. And more importantly, I just accepted that it was what should happen. At 13, I knew no better. And I also had a very low self-worth. And that is part of the problem. If as kids we've been unloved or abandoned, then our low self-worth comes into play. So we feel that we're not worthy of anything. So therefore, if somebody bullies us, well, we deserve it. That is part of the trauma. The other part of the trauma is that, of course, that we can become the bully. Now, we can do that simply because our inner child, whilst we've been kids and we've been traumatized, the inner child is very much hypervigilant. They are always looking for danger. Now, as a child, that may be okay, and they create a false persona and you survive that way. But as an adult, you have the same inner child, still hypervigilant, still fearful of every danger, but there's no danger around. So, for example, you might be at work and you're looking after a few other staff members, and something occurs, and suddenly you're roaring at them and telling them that they're something, or calling them names, or demanding that they fix something, and you wonder where that's come from. And the trouble is that the child, us and the inner child, has learned as they've been traumatized as kids that power and control go together. So as they're bullied, they have no control over that as kids, and they see that as power. And of course, when we are in control of something as adults, whether it be other staff, whether it be just the fact when we're in a shopping center and somebody pushes in front of us or takes the last item that we're about to reach for off the shelf, we lose our control and the inner child becomes super aggressive because that's the only way it knows. It can only be aggressive to frighten away the danger that it sees coming at it. That's how it sees it, even though it's no great danger. You might be arguing with somebody who's twice your age and you realize that they're no threat to you, but it doesn't matter. You just lose that control. So why do we bully? Well, we bully because we don't know anything else. We don't have any other way. Our inner child doesn't have any other way of reacting. We haven't learnt a behavior to manage that, and we are still very much damaged as adults. It doesn't go away because we grow up. I didn't have any staff to look after until I was roughly in my 40s. But when I did, I wanted them to do everything I wanted when I wanted it, the way I wanted it. And if not, I got extremely aggressive. So, and I at times didn't, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought, oh, well, I'm getting the work done and it's working the way it should. And of course, what I was doing was bullying people. And now I realize how much I was bullying people and how ineffective my whole management was of those staff members. If you feel that any of that is happening for you, then you have to start to acknowledge it. You have to understand that these are things that create embarrassment and shame for us, and we will feel that embarrassment and shame afterwards. You might walk away shaking, you might feel your stomach upset because you know that this is not what you want to do, but you can't control it in yourself, and therefore you don't know why it's happening. So I've already mentioned to you in a previous video that one of the ways to control that behavior immediately, and this is not healing, this is just controlling that immediate reaction, is to put a hand on your chest or your stomach. On your stomach if you're in public, so people don't think that you're having a heart attack. And as I mentioned before, it does happen. And then when you're doing that, take in a deep breath through your nose Let it out through your mouth. Do that a few times. Just allow your nervous system to calm a little so you can look at the situation without firing off aggressively as you would do. Now, the other thing that I would ask you to do, if you recognize anything that I'm talking about here, then list down all the times you felt embarrassed or ashamed because of the way you've acted towards other people, whether it be road rage, whether it be towards loved ones, work colleagues, whatever it may be, do that and list them out. I can tell you, like mine ran to 2 foolscap pages. I won't tell you all of them, but a few of them were including insisting on perfection, threatening work colleagues, inability to fit in at social gatherings, always feeling out, feeling lonely, like you don't belong in this world. Now, all of those things create a tension in you and can make you flare up and, of course, be quite aggressive. And the sad thing is that, in particular for men, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, they may experience these things, but they don't say anything to anyone. They just try and manage them as best they can. And of course, you can't manage them. They keep coming up. And they may wonder why in a shop somebody doesn't serve them immediately and they get really angry. It's because they want to control that situation and they can't. People are making noise next door and they want to control it, but they can't. So they go over and they yell at them. And of course, it creates a situation that is not good for them. So if you are feeling these things, do this. Write down the list, see it in black and white, and say to yourself, I've got to change these behaviors. And when they come up, do the breathing exercise, and you may find that you get some control over those desires to control everything around you because you can't and you shouldn't. And of course, you need to also find professional help. Get a therapist that works with traumatized children or early childhood trauma and work with them because it's very complex. There's not just one thing. We'll talk about 19 to 20 different symptoms in this series, and they all intertwine. They all can have, you can have several happening at once. Now, if you'd like to find out more about me, please go to grahamrobinsonwellness.com. If you're interested in the books, by all means, check them out on Amazon. Shattered Innocence, Healing the Invisible Wounds of Childhood Trauma, and my first book, Pain, Loss and Desire. Now, next time, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, to talk about fawning, what it is, what it means, and how you can best cope with it. See you then.